Hello there. It is another session of $5 in the World, the book project I'm working on that involves stories and sayings from my dad over the 101 years of his life. And I was around for about half of that. And so I got to hear a lot of them. My brother and I were beneficiaries of the way he lived his life, the way he talked about his life, the things he was willing to share and teach and model. And we're just thankful that we grew up with a dad like him and a mom like the woman that married him. We were very blessed in the parents department. Not everybody can say that, but we definitely can. And there are so many stories. They had such an impact on so many people over all those years that I just know that there are life lessons to be had from understanding the things that he said and why he said them and the way he lived and the way he interacted with people around him. And I just want to share his the wonderful person he was with as many people as possible. So what I did is to keep I've thought about doing this for so many years and I put it off for so long that I finally found whatever it is, the motivation isn't even the right word, but just the resolve to actually just start writing stuff. And I don't know how good it's going to be or how well received it's going to be, but I have confidence that the material itself is good and will be worthwhile. And it's less reliant on my skill as it is on the quality of the thinking, the worldview, the perspectives that I'm sharing that came from him and his life. And he picked them up along the way, his own wisdom, other mentors, other teachers, other people he was around, like his dad and some other people like that. So many other people. He took wisdom where he could find it and he shared it wherever people were willing to listen. And so by setting up this YouTube channel, it gives me kind of a target. Every week I have to have something to say, something to talk about. And so it keeps me writing. Sometimes I write more than other days. Sometimes I write less. But I'm always writing and working on it. And I know at some point it's going to have to shift from these outlines and the conceptual format that it's in and get edited. And I'm getting close to that point. I looked it up and I've done over 20 of these now. And this next weekend, I'm going up north to my brother's cottage, and we're going to have a lot of the family there. It's going to be and all of us knew my dad for a really long time. It's going to be my wife and me and my son and my brother and his wife and my sister and her husband and my other brother, half brother and his wife. So the sister and the other brother, they were both my mom's kids. So she had them before she met my dad. So they were in and out of our lives quite a bit, but they weren't in the house, like in the center of the household, like my brother and I were, because we were both a product of my mom and dad's marriage. But we all knew him, and I'm looking forward to kicking some of these around with those guys, getting their feedback, their memories, and see if I can add some of that to this too. So I think after next weekend, there's going to be some movement here to maybe start working towards some editing and some additions, some refining, and getting it closer to a book form. But this has been quite a journey for me, and I really appreciate those of you that come on here and comment and share and encourage and give advice. I love that and cherish that. It is Labor Day weekend. It is Saturday, August 30th, 2025. We're doing this. And this is the first time I've been live in quite a while, but it just fit in today. And so I wanted to do it. I put in the introduction or in the heading for this episode, this session, how do you stay out of a rut? And what do you tell yourself to stop from settling, even when settling seems like the easier thing to do? How do you keep yourself leaning forward in the next best thing? How do you go from good to better and from better to best? How do you make your desires known? How do you let somebody know that something needs to change to make it better or to get amended or to get it corrected? Do you give yourself permission to speak up about these things? Do you have a way of thinking about things that let you know it's okay to try to change your situation, that things don't have to be the way they are, and that waiting and waiting and waiting with no action and no plan is not the way to get things done. It just leads to a life of a lot of regret and a lot of dissatisfaction. And it's too short for us to live like that. We don't have to live that way. My dad refused to live that way, and he had an expression that he would use whenever things kind of dragged, especially when there was a decision just hanging out there. Indecision really really bothered my dad. My dad saw it as an enemy, and he as a thief of joy and as a thief of momentum. And so he didn't make hasty decisions, but he didn't let them linger either. He didn't put off resolution. His philosophy, and I've shared it earlier in another chapter, where his like a quick yes is better than a long no. That you just had to, or a quick no, excuse me, I got that backwards. A quick no is better than long yes, because you just need to keep forward movement. If you keep waiting and waiting and waiting for decisions and waiting for answers, you lose that kind of momentum in life. And so much of life is momentum, isn't it? So much of life is forward action. If you don't have it, it's hard to get it back. And he really thought that, okay, he'll get that no out of the way, and he can start working on the next yes. It was like movement and shifting, and always keeping his eye on the ultimate goal, but not getting hung up in the moment to moment details. Like if they weren't working, he would bypass them, or come up with another way to do the next right thing. And this is in that idea. This is in that stream of thinking, that this chapter and this expression he had. And I got to tell you, I've had to work hard to get more like this, because I have in most of my life, I've had a tendency. I'm willing to wait. If I think there's a yes coming and the yes is important to me, I will sacrifice some time and even some momentum to get that yes if I think it's coming. I do agree with Dad that just waiting and hoping something happens without making it clear what I want to have happen, and without making the effort to do what I can to make it so. I'm all about that. But I have been willing in the past to hang in there longer with a situation than my dad would have been. I'm not saying who's right or wrong, but he had this idea that it's going to happen or it's not. Push it to the limit, see if it's going to happen. If it doesn't, let it go, get the next thing, or come at it from another way. And I've always been a little slower to make that decision than he was. Um, but it's a work in progress, and I think that the longer I look at life, the longer I've been around, the more I see that, sometimes you just have to know when to say when, right? That this isn't going to happen, or it's not going to happen fast enough to work out for us. Um, but I think, and so I want to share this idea with you and see what you think of it. Is he right, or is it better to let some of this stuff play out longer? There's a wisdom factor there. There's not like a set time for how long something has to gestate before you decide, yeah, this is going to work or not. But you have to know. I guess his real point was, once you really get a sense this isn't happening, just face that and move, instead of kidding yourself. I think that's really where he's coming at it from. But enough about the intro. Let's take a look at this chapter right now. The saying, the expression he used is that we're going to talk about today is kill it or cure it. And this is what I've got written so far. Our dad witnessed people miss opportunities more. Our dad witnessed people miss opportunities more due to indecision than to lack of resources. He understood that there are opportunity costs attached to waiting too long to make a decision and to act. People will hold on to the familiar even when it is unsatisfactory. How often do we hear people talk about feeling stuck in a relationship, a circumstance, or a career, and wait through the days with growing dissatisfaction? Hope is not a method for making anything change. It can inspire us to change, but it isn't the force that causes change. Change comes from a resolution and a a shift in thinking and behaving. Dad believed that clarity about goals, plans for attaining them, and the appropriate actions to accomplish them was how people move their lives forward with purpose. He also knew that not everything worked out the way we planned. Sometimes our desires change and the goal is no longer aligned with our values. He would regularly evaluate how his plans were proceeding, if they were still where he wanted to go. If he found that a plan had stagnated, a relationship was not beneficial to either side any longer, or a decision was dragging out, he would say in regards to this situation, you have to kill it or cure it. He meant that an unsatisfactory status quo did not have to be and should not be tolerated. If it was amendable, by all means, take those steps, cure it. If that wasn't happening, if it wasn't likely or was no longer worthwhile, kill it. Not the person, but the situation. We waste so much time waiting for something instead of doing something. We hope for something to change without making any changes. To fight off this kind of inertia, Dad came up with this expression, kill it or cure it. I found over the years that successful people have a variation of this expression in their own ways of thinking. I remember one of the guys I knew, he was a guy, developer I worked with. I've talked about him before. His name was Fred. And one of the things he would do in negotiation, if he felt like they were delaying a decision or delaying a commitment to for some reason other than good faith. Maybe they wanted to try and wear us out or get an advantage on us or just keep pushing the envelope, see how much more the concessions they could get or how much changes they could get just to see if they could. It wasn't a real good faith negotiation at some point. He would say, we're going to quit dancing, unplug the jukebox. And that was his way of saying, make an ultimatum. We're either doing this or we're not. That was his version of this kill it or cure it. He's like, let's stop dancing. Are we really doing this or not? Time to make a decision. And that's really another way of saying what my dad was talking about. It's time to make a decision. Are we going to keep doing this? We're going to stop. And where are we going with this? This approach keeps life in a dynamic state, one where the things going on are understood to be moving in the desired direction. The rejection of the unacceptable proves to be essential in making progress in this life. How many relationships founder because neither person makes the effort to cure nor exerts the integrity to kill it? Living stuck in a deal, a job, or relationship that we are neither working at all the time to make it better nor making arrangements to improve our lot in life leads to a life of regret and disillusionment. Indecisive thinking, delaying decisions, and procrastinating all drain momentum from our lives. We begin to believe that we are stuck. There is a difference between accepting facts of life and then living with unresolved issues. We need to learn how to discern the difference. One way to confirm which is to assert ourselves in the situation and see if there's any change we can affect. Too often, people approach difficult choices with passivity. There can be a real fear of change in people. The approach promoted by my dad was based on the idea that the cost of settling instead of striving was greater than enduring the challenges of changing. He was more concerned about what he would lose by not acting than of what would happen if his plan didn't work. The strongest message he had for himself to stay committed to forward progress was this saying of kill it or cure it. This approach does not leave room for accepting an unsatisfactory status quo. He took all of the overthinking out of the equation by defining the choices so clearly. Either choice, kill it or cure it, requires some action, and action produces results. Chances are you have a situation or circumstance in your life right now that is holding you back from something better or aggravates you daily because you know it isn't what you desire. There are two other responses available besides the path of passivity and resentment. Kill it. Recognize it's time to move on or to let it go. And cure it. Take steps to make it more in line with what is better for you and others. Believe in yourself that you do possess the power to make this decision and then go make it. Kill it or cure it. That's the way to think about a situation that is not satisfactory. It's not working. It's not where you want it to be. It's not how you want it to go, but you've been just sitting on it. Or there's a decision to, do I go to college or not? Do I go to grad school or not? Do I take this promotion or not? Do I put my hat in the ring for this promotion or not? Do I quit this job or not? So all these big kind of what feel like life-changing events, and a lot of them are. There's a lot of life-changing events in life, right? But where we think we have a decision to make, but it's such a big one and the stakes seem so high, there's a tendency to kind of freeze. You know, there's fear of change, there's fear of process, there's fear of loss, there's fear of outcome that's not going to be as good as we thought it was going to be, and all that, and we can freeze up in that fear. This expression is a great way to kind of jolt yourself out of that. You get almost kind of in a funk. This takes that option away. It takes away that option of do nothing, when doing nothing is actually hurting our cause, hurting our chances, hurting our momentum, hurting our lives. It forces us to make a decision. It forces us to make a resolution. It moves us into action. It's a great way to jolt our system, to get off that, kind of shock, get out of that sense of, of stagnation. Am I going to work on making this better, or am I just going to leave it? Am I going to kill it or cure it? Am I going to make it better, or am I going to write it off? Is it time to move on, or is it time to dig deeper? But neither of those options allow me to just sit there and just keep waiting. Allow me to just sit there and keep stewing. Allow me to just keep sitting there wondering. No, it's a call to action. And like I said, my dad was a big believer in action, because one action leads to more action. And if there's an adjustment you have to make, or repentance you have to do, or redirect that you need to do, at least you got momentum, you got energy, plans start becoming more clear when they start running into reality. You start, am I on the right track or not? It's a great way to test the waters and test that look for proof of concept. It's all theoretical and entertainment till you actually start moving. And this is a great way to get off the dime. This is a great way to get off the start line. This book idea reached a kill it or cure it point in my life. And I just decided I just had to cure it. And I just had to start. And whatever I come up with at the end of it, I'll know that I followed through on something I kicked around for a really long time. I hope it proves beneficial, not just to me, but anyone else that comes across it, whether it's one other person or millions. That would be pretty cool. But anyways, keep hanging there with me. Keep coming on here. Keep listening to these. I'll start. I will always appreciate it, and invite others to like it and subscribe to it. And I'll keep posting links to it, so in case you miss it live, you can always catch it later. That's it for today. If you've been sitting on something for a really long time, and it's become just it's aggravating or disillusioning or discouraging or just frustrating, or maybe you just want more than what you've got right now in some aspect, really look at it and take the choice of doing nothing off the table, and demand of yourself to kill it or cure it, and see where that takes you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll look for your comments down the road. Bye for now.